never done that before.
Good morning.
Look, I know we're close, y'all.
Good morning. The November the 8th, 2017 meeting of the Board of Estimates is now called to order. In the interest of promoting the order and efficiencies of these hearings, persons who are disruptive to the hearing will be asked to leave the hearing room immediately. Meetings of the Board of Estimates are open to the public for the duration of the meeting. The hearing room must be vacated at the conclusion of the meeting. Failure to comply may result in a charge of trespassing. Madam Deputy Controller, are there any corrections, additions, or deferrals on the agenda?
Yes, good morning. For today's agenda, we have one correction, and that is on page 76, item number 1. Under the section that currently reads MBU set goals of 19% for MBE and 5% for WBE, the WBE that is currently on the agenda, which reads Sue Ann's Office Supply, Inc., is incorrect. Please delete that and replace it with TFE Resources Limited. The dollar amount and percentage remains the same. There were no additional protests received for today's meeting. I have the following abstentions to note. For the Honorable Mayor Pugh, there are no abstentions. For the Honorable President Young, he will abstain on pages 59 to 61 and on pages 80 to 83 for the DHCD item only. The Honorable Comptroller Pratt will abstain on pages 6 to 7, items 8 and number 9. The items that are on the non-routine agenda are pages 26 and pages 76 to 77, item numbers 1 and 2. Mr. President, members of the board, that is the one correction as well as the abstentions that have been received thus far for today's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. I will direct the board members' attention to the memorandum from our office dated November 6, 2017, identifying matters to be considered as routine agenda items, together with any corrections and additions that have been noted by the Deputy Controller. I will entertain a motion to approve all of the items contained on the routine agenda.
I would so move, Mr. President.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carried. The routine agenda has been adopted. The first item on the non-routine agenda can be found on page 26, Department of Audits, Audits Report, and related Audit Digest. Will the parties please come forward?
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
Members of the board, I'm Bob McCarty, City Auditor. I'm joined by Ms. Audrey Askew, our Deputy City Auditor today.
Henry Raymond, Director of Finance.
Okay, the single audit report includes the previously issued Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, or CAFR, and related report on compliance and internal control over financial reporting. The Department of Audits and SSB and Company issued the CAFR portion of the report jointly. And we have two members of SB with us today, Bill Seymour and Monique Booker. The city has two significant deficiencies in internal control over financial reporting, and both findings are considered to be material weaknesses. The first is material weaknesses over the grant accounting function. Due to a lack of formal procedures and accountability of various city departments, the city was not able to establish accurate balances of grants accounts receivable and grant deferred revenue accounts. Grant expenditures and receipts were often allocated to the wrong grant ledger accounts, which could lead to overcharging certain grant accounts, overstating deferred revenues for other grant accounts, and improper billing of certain other grants. We recommend that the city develop a formal procedure to timely and properly track and account for grant revenues and expenditures, to be able to reconcile grant account balances from the general ledger to systems maintained at the departments that receive them. We also recommend that the city establish a grants department that will be responsible for reconciling grant information. In addition, the city should invest in general ledger software that would accommodate accounting and record-keeping for complex grants received by the city, and should dedicate staff to properly account for its grants activities. The Department of Finance stated that it agrees with the finding and has implemented a grant revenue fund corrective action plan, which would include the following. In fiscal year 17, Finance was granted additional staffing form a grant management unit. The city has implemented a new grant reporting and documentation module. And finally, in May 2017, Finance established 9 separate grant administrative policies that apply to all grant agencies. The second finding is material weaknesses over the financial reporting function. The Department of Finance reports financial information based on the information provided and maintained by various city departments that process property tax activities, water and sewer activities, capital asset activity, and internal fund balance and/or transfer activity. The city's general ledger software, which is City Dynamics, makes it difficult to track property tax receivable, water billings, capital assets, and internal fund balances. Due to the large amount of activity in these accounts, it is difficult to perform a thorough post-closing review and detect all errors. We recommend that the city develop a formal procedure for monthly and year-end financial reporting procedures and checklists and obtain more resources to assist in the preparation of financial statements. We also recommend that the city invest in financial reporting software that would help the city generate appropriate reports and compile financial statements. Finance stated that it agrees with the finding and has provided a corrective action plan which includes the following. In regard to the financial reporting software, the selection will be made within the context of the citywide enterprise resource planning system strategy, which is currently underway and managed by the Mayor's Office of Information Technology, excuse me. In the meantime, Finance will continue to maintain its system and include an upgrade to the City Dynamics GP 2016 platform later this fiscal year. And lastly, evaluate current staffing levels to determine if additional accounting staff are warranted, and review and/or establish procedures to improve reporting and statement preparation. That's on the CAFR side.
I'll address that. The Finance Department concurs with the 2 recommendations, the 2 findings as noted. As the auditor has pointed out, the Department of Finance has taken appropriate corrective action. All of these items are in place and underway. As it relates to the upgrade to the present GP Dynamics system, that is underway and will be completed next week, November the 13th. Agencies are going through training as it relates to the upgrades for the system, which will result in improvements with the general ledger, accounts receivable, accounts payable modules, workflow processes, and the journal entry process to make improvements. The bigger picture is that the Department of Finance is working with Director Johnson of Moit, looking at citywide enterprise resource systems for major overhaul of the city's accounting system, grants management systems, customer resource management platform to track grants from cradle to grave. So all of that's underway, and improvements are being made. A lot of the improvements are incremental because it will take a period of time, but it is underway.
Okay, thank you. The balance of the city audit, the single audit report is issued solely by the Department of Audits, and this portion will be covered by Audrey. Ask you.
Good morning, honorable board members, Mayor Pugh, President Young, and Comptroller Joan Pratt. My name is Audrey Askew, the Deputy City Auditor. The 2016 single audit report was finalized on September 29, 2017 by our single audit division. Management is responsible for compliance with federal statutes, regulations, and contractual terms as it relates to the federal awards. Management is also responsible for establishing and maintaining effective internal controls over compliance. Now, we consider the City of Baltimore's internal control or compliance with the type of compliance requirements that could be direct and material, that could have a direct and material effect on the programs in determining the appropriate auditing procedures. We are to report on the internal control over compliance in accordance with uniform guidance. We are not to express an opinion on the effectiveness of the internal control over compliance. Our responsibility is to express an opinion on the compliance for each of the City of Baltimore's major federal programs. We believe that our audit provides reasonable basis for our opinion and compliance for the programs. Now, the type of audit report that was issued was an unmodified opinion. An unmodified opinion, if you know in the past, it was considered an unqualified opinion. When you think of that, you kind of think of a clean opinion. Unmodified does not mean that the report was absent of issues or findings. It just merely states that the financial report was transparent enough for us to render such an opinion. Now, during the planning phase of our audit, we identified 10 major federal programs to audit. We noted 19 findings. Of the 19 findings, 5 findings warrant communication to those charged with governance, the board. The other 14 findings are findings that relate to internal control and or compliance deficiencies, but they do not warrant communication with the board. They are not of significant concern. For each of the findings, management is required to submit a corrective action plan, and that's for, again, all findings. Uniform guidance now requires that this corrective action plan be submitted on a separate letterhead, and they are requiring a responsible party to be named that will be held responsible for the corrective action plan. For the duration of this period, I will actually go into the findings, and I will read just an excerpt of the finding and our recommendation. The first critical issue relates to the LIHEAP program. We issued a qualified finding on the LIHEAP program as it relates to eligibility of participants. This can be found as finding 2016-004. A qualified opinion means that our audit, after we completed our audit testing, the information provided to us was limited in scope, and we were unable to render a clean assessment for this area. Of 114 transactions tested, we noted numerous inaccuracies and discrepancies. 7 participant applicants were not provided for testing. Original applications were missing for 3 participants. 2 instances where approval signatures of MOHS were altered, either changed or added subsequent to receipt by our audit team. The MEEP award not listed on application for 40 participants. 4 instances of no proof of residency or photocopy if identification was missing. 7 instances of duplicate payments, 4 instances of certifier and or intake signatures missing, and 1 instance where total income was not listed on the application. Now, we recommend MOHS implement controls over its eligibility process. The next 3 findings are findings that relate to material weaknesses. A material weakness exists when the design or the operation of a control over compliance does not allow management or its employees to perform their normal duties in a timely manner. A material weakness is the reasonable possibility that there is a material noncompliance of a federal program that will not be prevented or detected and corrected in a timely basis. Just to note, a material weakness finding could escalate to a qualified opinion if not corrected. Finding 2016-001. Material weakness over the schedule of expenditures of federal awards, also known as the CFA. This finding is kind of in conjunction with the 2 CAFR material weakness findings for the Department of Finance. During our 2016 audit, our department prepared the CFA for the City of Baltimore. Many times, expenditure information in the accounting software differed from the expenditures reported by various city agencies. We were not able to clearly identify which amounts were accurate, so we used expenditure amounts from the accounting software. In addition, we were not able to test the CFA as required by uniform guidance because much of the required information needed to be tested was not provided to our auditors. As auditors, we cannot prepare, test, and report on a schedule in which we prepared. The City of Baltimore Department of Finance is responsible for preparing the CFA based upon grant information obtained from the financial accounting records and other information provided by each department. Now, we recommend that the Department of Finance establish policies and procedures to ensure that the federal funds are properly identified and reported accurately on the CFA in accordance with uniform guidance requirements. We also recommend that individuals responsible for administering federal assistance programs with the City of Baltimore receive training in grant administration. Now, is this the point where you want to come in, and I can finish the other
Yes.
pieces? Okay.
The Department of Finance concurs with the finding. Beginning in fiscal 2018, the CFA, which is the Schedule of Expenditure of Federal Awards, will be prepared by the Finance Department. From 1996 to the present, that schedule has been prepared by the Department of Audits with the knowledge of our external auditors. Moving forward, beginning in fiscal 18, the Department of Finance will prepare the schedule.
Finding 2016-005, material weakness over payroll for the LIHEAP program. We selected 54 payroll transactions. We noted that MOHS did not have the required written policy on compensation per uniform guidance. In addition, we noted these following issues or areas of concern. 4 employees' names and/or positions were not noted in the program budget. 27 instances where the employee did not sign in. 13 employee summary sheets did not match employee time sheets. 2 instances where biweekly summary sheets were not authorized by the supervisor. All employees sign in but do not sign out at the end of the day. 2 instances where the employee left in fiscal year 2015 yet were paid salaries in 2016. And 3 instances where payment was made to a person that was never an employee for the LIHEAP program. We recommend that the agency write procedures related to federal funded payroll, either partially or full, and implement these procedures immediately. In addition, we recommend the agency review the payroll for fictitious or former employees still listed within the payroll summary sheets. Finding 2016-007, a material weakness over subrecipient monitoring for the continuum of care and HOP programs. During the audit, we were not able to test subrecipient monitoring at the Mayor's Office of Human Services because the monitoring was not performed on subrecipients during the audit period to ensure that sub-awards were used for authorized purposes, complied with the terms and conditions of the sub-award, and that the subrecipients achieved their performance goal. We recommend that MOHS implement a formal monitoring program to include review of subrecipient eligibility, financial and program performance, and review of audits if required. Our final finding to note, this finding is a significant deficiency, meaning it is less severe than the material weakness, yet important enough to merit attention to those charged with governance. It's finding 2016-018, Baltimore City Health Department. They draw down funds based on a percentage. They were not able to, therefore, we were not able to test this accurately because they were not able to provide supporting documentation for the drawdowns. Federal government requires drawdowns based on actual expenditures. And our recommendation is that Baltimore City Health Department incorporate controls to properly draw down funds related to federal awards. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you. Yeah, I have 2 questions. I see in the external audit letter found in Part 2 of the single audit the following language. The city auditor did not have an external peer review by an unaffiliated audit organization as required by Chapter 3 of Government Auditing Standards at least once every 3 years. The last external peer review was for the period ending December 31st, 2011. What is the peer review process and what does it entail?
Bob McCarty, City Auditor. The peer review process involves an outside independent auditing agency to come in and review our procedures to make sure we're in compliance with the AICPA and Yellow Book standards.
And why wasn't it done?
We had one scheduled to be completed by our due date, which was December 31st, 15, and the group we had not hired yet, but we had an agreement with is the Association of Local Government Auditors, and they did not have the staffing at the time to prepare our performance audit.
Okay.
We have, I'm sorry.
So as we move forward, according to Chapter 3 of Government Ordinance, it needs to be done at least once every 3 years.
Yes.
So I just want to put on the record that every 3 years, we should be seeing this peer review, external peer review.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, the second question, can you explain why Audit has not undergone, well, I already asked that. What is Audit doing to fix this problem? You answered that. What has Audit been preparing the CFA for many years when the Code of Federal Regulation states that the auditee, not the auditor, should complete the CFA?
This is before my time when it started as city auditor, but around the time of the Rio, when they had the early retirement option back in 1996, around that time, at the time, I don't believe it was even called BAPS, but whatever they were called back then, they no longer had the staff to do it. And we, at that city auditor at that time, and the director of finance at that time, worked it out that we would do it in the future. And we have discussed this with finance over the years, and when the new Dynamics program came in back in 2009, thank you, 2009, we had hoped at that time it would be taken over, but BAPS did not have the capability to do it yet.
Okay.
We've now worked, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, finish.
We have now been working with Mr. Raymond and his BAPS staff, and for fiscal year 2017's CFA, we are working jointly with them to complete it, and we'll turn it over to them fully for fiscal year 18.
Yep.
Okay, so when is it actually due to be reported?
The fiscal year 17, the next one is due March 31st, 2018.
Okay, and it will be done on time?
Yes, it will.
Okay. All right, please note, any other questions? Please note that the audit has been noted. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
The next item on the non-routine agenda can be found on pages 76 to 77, items 1 and 2. Recommendation for contract awards, SC 974, on-call assessment and repair of sanitary sewers, mains, and laterals. Zone B. Will the parties please come forward? Is the protester here? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move award of the contract as recommended.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. But shouldn't we
Protest is
move to,
abandoned.
yeah,
I move that we declare the protest abandoned by non-appearance of the protester.
and we're moving the award forward.
And moving the award forward.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carries. There have been no more business before the board. We will recess until bid opening at 12 noon. Thank you.
Good afternoon. The Board of Ethics is now in session for the receiving and opening of bids. I have two addenda for today. WC 1272, Pennington Avenue and vicinity, water main replacements. Please change the bid due date from November 8th to November 15th, 2017. WC 1328, Montebello Filtration Plant Number 1, infrastructure improvements. Please change the bid due date from November 8th to November 22nd, 2017. Those are the addenda for today.
Without objection, the board so orders.
GS 15823, Courthouse East roof replacement. A bid bond is required if the amount is over $100,000. Thank you. Thank you. City Roof Corporation with a bid bond. $2,890,825. Oh, sorry, thank you. Great, wonderful.
1 plus 1 on all.
Flynn Mid-Atlantic LP with a bid bond, $2,060,298.
You got any more bids? Okay, you got big ones. You got 9.
Simpson of Maryland, Inc. with a bid bond, $2,671,000. CAM Construction Company, Inc. with a bid bond, $4,361,000.
All bids on GS 15823 will be referred to the Department of Public Works for calculation and review. General Services.
SC 976, sewer collection system improvements in the Greenmont, Hamden, and Bolton Hill areas of the Jones Falls sewer shed. A bid bond is required if the amount is over $100,000. SAK Construction, LLC with a bid bond, $17,263,450.
Where did it come from? Y'all need clips.
Civil Construction, LLC, with a bid bond. $22,445,850. AM Liner East, Inc., with a bid bond. $15,436,558. Mine doesn't have it. Mine says no sense. So I have to go by this one as the. So when they do the calculation, they'll figure it out. If it's Anchor Construction Corp. with a bid bond. Okay. $16,375,236.50. Okay, thank you. IPR Northeast LLC with a bid bond. $14,879,289.90. Spiniello Companies with a bid bond. $14,983,300. Mine might be in the rear. I don't see it. Okay, great, wonderful, thank you. In situ Form Technologies LLC with a bid bond. $14,467,055. I have it too, thanks for that. Pleasance Construction, Inc. with a bid bond. $18,022,347. Metra Industries with a bid bond. $17,996,468.55.
The board orders all 9 of the responses to SC 976 referred to the Department of Public Works for evaluation and calculation.
SC 963, improvements to the sanitary sewers in the southwest area of Baltimore City, and Maiden's Choice pressure sewer assessment and Uplands sewer replacement. A bid bond is required if the amount is over $100,000. AM Liner East, Inc. with a bid bond. $20,304,667.80. Pleasance Construction, Inc., with a bid bond. 22,615,886. Yes, thank you. Metra Industries with a bid bond. 16,454,536.95. Spiniello Companies with a bid bond. $18,833,000.
These four responses to SC 963 will be referred to the Department of Public Works for evaluation and calculation.
You'll have some checks, it looks like. Bring them down later. I'll just sort of see. Might just be one. Okay. I'll start with one of the other ones first, give us time to set up. Okay. B50005141, 1-ton crew cab utility body pickup trucks with cranes. A bid bond in the amount of 5% of the bid is required. Yeah, let me look another one real fast and see. You know, that's what's in here. That's what they wrote. Let's see what they call it. I don't know this. Which is too far. It's too far apart. Yeah. Okay. For this particular bid, I am noting that, and this is for, again, B50005141. In the bid item description, it reads 3/4 ton crew cab utility body pickup trucks, which is different than the name that is on the bid itself.
It's so noted.
Okay. Thank you. Did you see a bid bond anywhere? I didn't see one for this one. I'll probably subject to verification if I'll look one more time. They might have it on file. T&T Equipment, subject to verification of bid bond. $271,482.12.
Madam Clerk, I'm going to ask you to
Read that one again?
recite that.
Yes, please. Thank you. And again, this is T&T Equipment, $271,480.
Just one moment. Do I have the correct?
This,
Yeah, I don't think I have the correct.
give you the wrong sheet, might be.
No, that's the right sheet, but
But you know, it might very well be we missed one. Glenn, we have a bid we're reading now. We can check for an envelope for T&T. T&F, I'm sorry, it's T&T Equipment. And it is the corrected number. It could be, they check the addresses sometimes. This is Cinnamon, New Jersey. Please, yes.
it appears to be a slight difference in the naming,
Name, yes.
the naming
Sometimes-
convention that the company used.
Yes, we'll look at the envelope and see
Okay.
that it came in. We keep those two. Thank you. The only one we have for Cinnamon is that, and that's the correct address. The custom truck. Did I see that anywhere here? It says custom truck. Okay. Custom truck. Okay, custom truck. Yes. Yes. We'll use this name when we're not able to open them until we come here publicly, so when we record the names, we record based upon the envelope. So,
Of course.
they'll have something that probably shows that this is doing business as. But the
Yeah,
bill-
let's attach the envelope.
Yeah, we'll give a copy of
to-
it. Yeah, we'll
We
give
have
a
a
copy.
copy, we have a
We'll
copy
give a
of
copy,
the
because we keep these, 'cause sometimes, people say things are in there, aren't there.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
so,
All right, so what we'll do, and that's also, yeah.
All right.
We'll say that's custom, I'll do both names,
yeah, use both names. and
yes, okay. That was custom truck.
Custom truck and equipment.
Okay, thank you. T&T Equipment, the envelope bears the names Custom Truck and Equipment, and it's from 1850 Union Landing Road, Cinnaminson, New Jersey. This particular bid is subject to verification of the bid bond, $271,482.12. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
I have a copy of the bid bond. You have it.
Just a copy, not the
Well, let me see, maybe it's there.
stamp. They're all just copies.
Okay, let me make sure, yeah, yeah.
That we do, that's also a copy, right? It looks like a copy
It looks
signature.
a copy here, yeah. Sometimes they have a note here, this was signed, but that's by the company, the principal, but the surety.
They even have their notary.
Yeah, right, but again, it's, every once in a while, they'll say something that says a photocopy is acceptable, maybe if I see that. Okay, thank you so very much. That goes to the other bid we just read, copy of the envelope. Yes, thank you. See, this is where they would have had it. These cases, just refer to the law department. Okay. Where's my pencil? This is, I make a motion to refer the bid of Chapman Auto Group to the Law Department for review.
Second.
The motion's been made and second to refer the Chapman proposal for review. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The board elects to refer the Chapman proposal for further review. Be referred to the Law Department.
Charles S. Winter, Inc., doing business as Winter Ford with a bid bond. $261,180. Oops, sorry. Here's your check. Let me have your name there. Century Ford of Mount Airy, Inc., with a check. $255,856.
The bids, with the exception of Chapman, will be referred to the Department of Purchasing for evaluation and calculation, subject to the verification of the bid bond of Custom Truck and Equipment Trading as T&T Equipment. The Chapman Chevrolet proposal will be referred to the Law Department for review.
I don't see one either. Okay, great. Thank you. I'm so busy checking for it. I think I'm the same one. Thank you. B50005156, polymeric flocculants for centrifuge dewatering for Back River wastewater treatment plant. A bid bond is not required. BASF, BASF Corporation, $936,717.36. Polydyne Inc., $847,905.54. Okay. Coin Chemical, I'm sorry.
You change the tag number. So I guess they were supposed to bid on these two, either this one or this one.
Yeah.
So this one bid on this one. This one bid on the different product.
Right. It looks like they had this an item bid, and we just read the total anyway. And that's what we
Verify.
Thank you. Good looking, thanks very much.
Different polymer class. Works
Oh, right, okay. See, it's good that you did. I was reading it. Coiny Chemical Company, no bid. Chimera Water Solutions, Inc., no bid.
These two bids will be referred to Bureau of Purchasing for evaluation and calculation.
Okay. B50005165, Caterpillar Heavy Equipment, OEM Parts and Services. A bid bond is not required. They broke the two parts, but they didn't give it to you, so they really should have. I'm going to read the labor hours because that's just the parts and there's no markup. See?
Yeah, but the thing is that this is $0. $0 times 10,000 equal to $0.
Yeah, they have it wrong. But they're just trying to say they have no markup.
Right, basically, well, for parts.
Right. So they wanted to multiply that, so he's saying it's only going to be 10,000 because there's no markup. He says, right? So if it's 1%,
okay.
yeah. So I'll just read the labor. I'll read the labor rates for this, and the labor rates are $134 per clock hour. And that total is $67,000. Sorry, if that, let me reread that, it's a little confusing. I read the labor rate plus the total amount, which was
All right, we'll refer it for evaluation.
Bureau purchases.
To the Bureau of Purchases, yes.
Thank you. All righty. This should be the last one now. Solar trash compacting. Okay. I'm trying to see if there's any. Here they are. Here's the B50005128, solar trash compacting stations and companion recycling station. A bid bond is not required. At the very bottom, they're saying this is the basis of award, the very bottom of all three phases. This is phase one, this one, this page. For the first figure, the 2,000. Phase two, phase three,
Yeah, okay.
the total. Okay. E-Septical, that's E-C-E-P-T-A-C-L-E. 49,711,500.
Take a look at
This one.
this. So it looks like this is a customized. This is not even a full.
Let's see this one is. This is the next one. Okay, here's a duplicate of that one. I'll check here and see. Details, specs, bid documents. This one here. See the shimmery
Okay, so it's the grand total. I see. Got it.
on phase three. Big Belly Solar Inc. 18,915,900. I'm sorry, $991.50. Okay, read it again. I stopped in the middle. Should I read it again?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I thought you were showing me something. Okay. E cube. I guess they're not clip. Trying to make sure they're all E cube. I'm looking for their, I'm trying to make sure it's the same bid. Should be, but I don't see their front page. It says B8. I'm looking for B8 to make sure it's the same one. Oh, here it is. It's sort of out of order. That's good. Great, we're fine. E-Cube, E-C-U-B-E, Labs Company. 15,048,753.69. Waste Quip, no bid. This is somebody's. I think this is E-Cube's.
Yeah, I think that's E-Cubes.
Yes.
The three apparently responsive bids on B50005128 will be referred to the Bureau of Purchasing for evaluation and calculation. Does that conclude the board's work, Madam Clerk?
Yes, it does.
Thank you very much. We're in recess.